Welcome back, Sean and Drake here, and we got a little special class here for the sparring part today. But this is going to apply in general. All right, so feet together, step out, present. Okay, so Drake asked me, how do I get better at the stuff that I'm learning? Because I'm having trouble doing this exercise or that drill or that form. And I said, well, the same way you get better at anything. And so what I did was I have right here the first part of the Tai Chi 72 movements form. And I said, and so pay attention. So if I tell you first form, 72 movements, preparing form, Buddhist warrior attended, pounds mortar, lazy about tying coat, 6 sealing and 4 closing, and single whip. And then I say, what did I just tell you? Right now, can you repeat that back to me? Right, and of course, I'm on video, but pretend like we're in the same place, and you can talk. Can you repeat that back to me? Well, some of you might be able to repeat it back, especially if you've already learned that form. Some of you might be able to repeat 1 or 2 things. A few of you might be able to repeat more, just depending on how good your short-term memory is. But most of you are probably going to stutter and stammer, and you might remember 1 or 2 things. But then if I give you the piece of paper and tell you to read it a couple of times and repeat it back to me, are you going to do better?
Yeah.
Yes, you'll do better, all right? And then if I say, okay, read it a few more times, then repeat it back to me. So if we do that enough, pretty quickly you're going to be able to remember all of the movement names. Now that'll be in short-term memory. So if you want it to go to long-term memory, then you're going to have to periodically review so that it gets into long-term memory. Well, this is a mental thing. So the Kung Fu is a mental, physical, whole body, whole being thing if we get into the internal side. But let's just talk movement right now. So if you want to remember a movement, the best way to do it is practice it. And if you're having trouble, slow down, break it down, go back and review the teaching on it. One of the beauties of the video class, that this is an advantage over live classes, because live classes, you're usually not going to have a video of the class. You remember what you remember, and that's yours. And what you don't remember, well, you get to come back and learn it again, right? If the teacher's teaching it a second time. So that's the same for anything. So no matter how complicated or difficult, it can be frustrating, and I still get frustrated when I learn something new or try something, and I'm having trouble. It's less than perfect, but you can't get frustrated. You have to stop and say, you know what? I may not be able to do it right now, but if I slow it down and practice it, I'm going to get better, better, better until I can actually do it. All right. The second question that you asked me, I'll ask it now.
Any ways to immediately?
Yeah, any ways to immediately get better. And that's a really good question, because especially you're not always going to have the luxury of a video to go back and watch. So the first and most important thing is that a lot of times when people are talking, we're not listening. And this is true, like beyond training, it's true in relationships, interpersonal communications, all sorts of stuff. When people are talking, we are usually not listening. What are we doing? We're running a dialogue in our head that is either thinking about how to respond to them, if it's a back and forth, or we're running some kind of critique. I agree with them. I don't agree with them. Boy, I don't like the way they talk. I don't like that outfit they have on. You know, really, who lets themselves come out of the house looking like that? Right? What planet are you from thinking that that's right? I mean, we run all of these dialogues in our head so that we're not truly listening. We only get a small percentage of what the person is trying to say. So what that means is we're not actually learning. We do that all the time in class. And I mean, it's a habit. So Even you don't intentionally do it, it's a habit, it's just the way human beings work. But what you can intentionally do is make it a point to pay attention, to really listen to what they're saying. And one thing I like to do when I have the ability, whenever I'm in a classroom, I always have paper and pen. And a lot of times I will write down verbatim what is being told, right? Not that doesn't mean I agree with it. That just simply means I am wanting to understand what the teacher, because most likely if I'm in a class, I have some interest in the material and enough regard for the teacher to want to learn from them. So I will write down everything verbatim. That does a couple things. One is it helps get the memory into the body. So I'm looking at them, I'm listening to them, and I'm writing it down. I've got 3 representation systems, the visual, audio, and kinesthetic. And I'm writing it down. It improves my ability to retain information. Maybe say it's normally 40 to 50%. It takes it up closer to 80 to 90%, depending on the subject, right? So then it's very easy to go back and review the notes. So that's why I tell students, when you learn a new move, when you learn a new form in class, go home that night and practice that at least 10 times. And I guarantee the students that have done that, they progress a lot faster because they remember and they move forward. And this is not just a skill for Kung Fu, this is a skill for life. But this will help with your learning, not only for our sparring. I may release this video for everyone, not just the people who are in the sparring training, because I think it's so important, and it's important just outside of the internal martial arts. So any question on this?
No.
All right, so that's this little quick bonus tip for you. So spend some time doing something for yourself. Put all the time and effort training, multiply that, and you'll see rapid progress if you spend the time to truly listen and to practice and actually get this for yourself. Okay? Feet together, step out, present.